Welcome back, and today we're talking about By the Grace of the Gods, episode 7. So, like always, let's just jump into it. Episode 7 of By the Grace of the Gods, we see Ryoma's plan to become independent and kind of get away from the Reinhardt family, right? Like, he feels like he is getting spoiled by the Reinhardt family. And, we got to remember that Ryoma is really a 30 plus year old man that came to this world, and he's now 11. So, it's a huge difference between a 30-year-old and an 11-year-old. Like, for example, Elise, Reinhardt's wife, she believes that Ryoma deserves to be spoiled because he is a little kid at the end of the day. But before we jump into the rest of the episode, let me remind you to like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel out, and I greatly appreciate it. But essentially, we see the whole plan that Ryoma is going to do to become more independent. He's going to start his own laundry business. He's the only one that can essentially get rid of all the grime from the goblins. We see a lot of the adventurers are throwing their gear away. So this is a great business opportunity. Now, of course, the Reinhardt family, they're nice. They care about Ryoma. So they are going to give him his space, but they definitely do want to keep in contact, right? They want Ryoma to update them on how he's doing, how his health is. They want to keep in contact with Ryoma, and that's awesome, right? Because we know that Ryoma never really had that close family relationship aside from his mother that sadly passed away. So this is the closest thing that Ryoma has to a family. So that's awesome. Now, of course, Ellie had to put her 2 cents or her own agreement into this. She wants to meet Ryoma in 3 years and then in 6 years. So 6 years total, that's when she wants to meet. She wants to meet at the halfway point and then at the end of 6 years, because we see that Ellie is going to the academy in 3 years. She's going to get a nice long vacation, so she'll be able to meet Ryoma. So I'm guessing we are going to get a time skip here shortly, maybe. That would be nice. And then we're going to get another 3 years after that. So we might see 2 time skips, or possibly they would just do the whole one. But I would love to see Ryoma as like a grown-up, right? Like, I believe he's going to be like 17, maybe. I know Ellie's going to be 17 by the time 6 years go by. But yeah, it's gonna be nice to see a time skip and how much these characters would have grown. I mean, I can only imagine how much money Ryoma is going to have after this business. We are going to talk about the business because I don't believe everything is going to be just good. I have taken a couple business classes, so I know a couple things here and there about businesses, but essentially, he has to register with the Merchants Guild. He was talking to Sarge about his business, and of course, Sarge sees a great opportunity, so he's going to help Ryoma out because he's going to get a commission out of all of this. And this business, the cleaning the grime out of the goblins stuff, is going to be a huge deal. He's going to be having a monopoly. Now, they met the Merchants Guild leader, right? Like the master of the Merchants Guild. Her name was Glycella, and she of course knew this was going to be a great idea. That's why they're registering with the Merchants Guild, because essentially you don't really have to register, but if you start making way too much money, the Merchant Guild is going to come after you. And in order to avoid all of that, it's just better to go ahead and register right off the bat with the Merchants Guild. So again, Ryoma is doing everything he needs to do in order for his business to be successful, and that's awesome. But here's the problem that I see, and this is where we might get to see like a villain pop up, right? We know there was an investment going on because some people really want to get rich and they'll do anything to do it. And now like, for example, everybody that makes armor in this world, of course they're making a lot of money, because every time adventurers get that goblins grime in their gear, you can't really clean it off. The smell is horrible, so they end up throwing that gear away. And what do they have to do? They have to go and buy more gear. So it's like a vicious cycle, right? It could probably get expensive. And now that Ryoma is going to be doing a laundry service where they can get that grime off at an affordable price, do you see the problem? Some people that are rich making that armor and selling that armor, they might get greedy. They might get, a little salty and go after Ryoma, because he's going to be cleaning house. He's going to be getting a lot of those people out of business. If you don't have to buy as much armor anymore, if there's too many people in that market, some of them are going to have to close their businesses because they won't have the financial needs in order to keep their doors open. So while Ryoma's cleaning service is great for the general public, a lot of people that are making the armor and selling the armor, their business is going to suffer quite a lot. So that might introduce a villain or somebody that Ryoma is going to have to deal with. Heck, he might even come up with a solution for this as well. Who knows? We know Ryoma, he has a lot of ideas, especially since he's from Earth. He can bring a lot of the stuff that we have on Earth over here to this, like even restaurant, right? Whenever he was talking to Sarge about how in restaurant they have managers and waiters and stuff like that, they didn't know what a restaurant was, so I'm guessing there's no restaurants in this world, or maybe they're called by a different name. Now the building that Ryoma did get was all burnt down, but it's going to be really cheap. And of course we see Ryoma with how OP he is with his magic. He was able to like rebuild the whole building with a basement and 2 floors, a huge building. There's gonna be a lot of traffic because it's like in a prime location. This business that Ryoma is starting is essentially close to the Adventurers Guild, a lot of close to some of the adventurers' houses. So it is prime location for this laundry business. I'm telling you, Ryoma is gonna be so rich by the time he gets done with this business. It's gonna be ridiculous. Now, at the end of the episode, we get something important, right? We get that infantile regression from one of the gods. Ryoma went to that church in order to speak to the gods. And I have to say, I'm glad that Ryoma is not abusing this kind of communication that he has directly to the gods, right? Like he could be doing it every day, but no, he does it whenever he feels the need to talk to them. And it's nice to see those gods come in every now and then. And it was funny because 2 of the gods were missing. They were back on Earth because we know in this world there's no entertainment. Hint, hint, maybe Ryoma will be able to create another business where he can bring entertainment into this world, which I'm surprised none of the other people from that came from Earth before Ryoma started anything like this, right? Like singing, like holding up concerts. I don't think that's that hard to do, right? Like you just need to find somebody that has the talent to sing and then kind of create a large enough stadium or something like a stage to have them sing. And I feel like somebody will have done this already, especially since we get people from Earth coming over to this world. But Ryoma might be the first one to do it. But it was just funny to see that the gods are going to Earth to have a good time with the music festivals and going to the Amazon and going on adventures, because I guess this world that Ryoma is in is very boring to them. That's awesome. Now, the god did tell Ryoma that he might be suffering from infantile regression. Essentially, since he's trapped in like a 11-year-old body, his brain is not fully developed to that of like a full adult. So he's kind of, regression, right? He's going back into that stage of when he was back into that age group, 11 years old. So that's kind of what I understood from it. So it's kind of nice seeing that, he might actually be thinking like an 11-year-old. Heck, we see that Sarge kind of tell Ryoma that he is thinking like a little kid, right? Like he doesn't have what it takes to hold his emotions back in order to manage a business. So that's kind of awesome. It was a nice little tidbit that we got of information from Ryoma, and it was good. Overall, great episode. Of course, it ended up with a huge cliffhanger. I can't wait to see what's going to happen later on with the Rainhart family once they live and Ryoma is kind of by himself in this town, because the Rainhart family is leaving fairly soon. I think they're waiting for the birds to come in so they can see the birds. It's like a little ritual or a gathering that a lot of people like to see. So once that's done, they're gonna move on to the next town and do their thing. So it was awesome seeing everybody kind of help Ryoma start his business. It was heartwarming. I loved it. It was awesome. I can't wait to see what Ryoma is going to do in this world. It seems like he's going to have a lot of different things. He can change a lot of stuff. He can bring entertainment to the world. Heck, even restaurants. Who knows? But overall, good episode. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And like always, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.